So, you've seen us making our predictions for our clubs for the last couple of games, and it is going tremendously well, and we've been very accurate with our picks. However, now it's time for international duty. So we need to come together as one club. So, as always, I'm with the other half, Mr. Michael Hawes. I was going to say the better half, but I didn't want your ego to get too big. And we're here to discuss, obviously, the England squad.
Yes.
Our first game, Mike, is against Wales. So they're missing a few key players through injury or other reasons, which is always good news for us. But are you looking forward to the games?
Do you know what? Yes and no. I think I've just somehow been roped into the whole hate England bandwagon at the moment. It's just based on recent performances. They've been so poor. We spoke about it on the on the most recent podcast about what we think is going to happen with the predicted score lines, and just coming off such a high after the World Cup a couple of years ago to where we have been fairly recently. We were supposed to be going into a Euros competition, and I know obviously a lot has happened to the world in relation to the pandemic and stuff, but I don't know, it just seems like we've gone off the boil a bit. There doesn't seem to be that passion. The last two fixtures that we had, it just didn't feel like the England we saw a couple of years ago that was young, passionate. I'm hoping there's going to be a bit of an upturn with some new players being added into the squad. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's football at the end of the day. I'd rather watch crappy football than no football.
This is true. What I will say though is some of our players, especially the younger ones, have been passionate just about the wrong things, which is why they were kicked out of the squad.
Yes.
But that being said, let's get into it, shall we?
Yes.
So we start off, as always, with a bit of a squad announcement so we know who's in the squad. 3 goalkeepers: Nick Pope, Jordan Pickford, Dean Henderson.
Yes.
2 have been completely out of form so far this season. Although one is sitting top of the Premier League, and I think that's not really by his doing. If he had anything to do with it, they would be sitting bottom. And Dean Henderson has played really well in the Cup so far. Maybe we'll see him after that 6-1. In defence, we have, from left to right, we have Reece James, who's recently replaced Raheem Sterling through injury. Tyrone Mings, Harry Maguire, Michael Keane, Ben Chilwell, Joe Gomez, Connor Cody, Carl Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Kieran Trippier. If you notice, 5 right backs. Seems a little bit odd of a selection, but if it works, it'll make me eat my words. Lots of midfield talent, again, left to right: Mason Mount, Harvey Barnes, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, Jordan Henderson, Jack Grealish, Harry Winks, Eric Dier, and James Ward-Prowse. I hate it when there's 30 people in a squad. It just takes your breath away.
It's easier when we do it for the club ones.
Yeah, because you just go, it's the same lineup as last week, really. Right, left to right, attackers. Man of the moment, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Danny Ings, Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, Tammy Abraham, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka. Now, there are some constraints to this because it was Tammy Abraham's 23rd birthday. And 2 players were invited along with him to his birthday party, which he knew nothing about. And that was Ben Chilwell. Sorry, pardon me. And Jadon Sancho. All 3 of those players, as sort of a punishment, have been told they need to isolate and will miss the first game against Wales. So that sorts out some of our selection for us.
Down to 27.
Down to 27. I mean, I know in the podcast, Phil said that Jordan Henderson was injured for that game against Aston Villa, but he was definitely there and he looked like he was wearing a kit. But if he's fit enough to be included in the England squad, there's no excuse. If he's injured,
and it seems
don't include him.
That's what I was about to say. If he's injured, there's no point of it. Or that could be someone else's position.
Yes. Oh, yeah, 100%. There's a lot of players who are playing really well at the moment who could be in that squad if he's not fit. Right. We'll start off with arguably one of the most important positions. Goalkeeper.
Yep.
You've got 3 players there, Mike. Who would you go for off the top of your head? Or after you've thought about it, maybe. Either one will
do. How much time we got? No, it's a difficult one because Pickford's been England's number 1 for a little while now. Did have an okay World Cup. Again, he's in a team at the moment that has is, as you said, at the top of the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would be, just based on the fact that Everton haven't really conceded that many goals.
No,
I think Jordan Pickford. Long story short,
yeah,
Jordan Pickford.
Now, see, I was torn in 2 minds. I think Nick Pope overall is a better keeper, and I think Dean Henderson will be. The goals that Everton have conceded have been Pickford's fault this season, but for England, he has been very consistent, and he doesn't make many mistakes. So I agree. Let's chuck him in as let's
go with your choice.
Go with my choice. We'll chuck him in as goalkeeper, Mr. Little Arms in Jordan Pickford. Right, now next up we've got obviously a lot of defenders. We can take out one boom straight away because he is not allowed to play. And Chilwell, yes, of course. No, that's the one I meant to take out. Reece James can play. Sorry, mate. You're not in selection because I said so. Now, there's always going to be a goalkeeper. Formation is going to be a big thing with selection. So what sort of formation? I'll tell you what, you pick the formation and we'll put the players in, and then for the next game, my formation. Or it might even be the same. Yeah. We'll see.
No, that's fair
I think
enough.
that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think we actually played this formation in the last couple of games as well, with the 3 centre-backs and then the 2 wing-backs.
Yep.
So I'm going to go for kind of like the 5-2-3-ish formation.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. So I'll try and get those players in there. So should we start with the 3 centre-backs then? Now, there are some other players who... one of note that I would arguably potentially put in there because he's been playing there for his club, and that is Eric Dier. So he's not in obviously his lineup here. I've included him in midfielders because that's generally where we see him for England. But with some of the form of some of these players, I feel he might be in with a shout. But should we start with the leftmost centre back then of that 3? Who are you going to pick?
I think I'll go Tyrone Mings.
Tyrone Mings. In fairness, I'm glad you've said that because Tyrone Mings for me is definitely going to fit the bill for getting in now. We'll try and move some of these other players. There are a lot of these players, Harry Maguire being one. Keane has played all right, but he has made some howlers. Joe Gomez has been awful. Carl Walker and Trent Alexander-Arnold this season have both been, well, they've not been up to the standard that they have been previously. So it makes it a lot more difficult to pick these players. So, but that being said, we've got Tyrone Mings in there. Who is going next to him? Who's going to be a centre of that 3?
I'm basing this purely on leadership. I know he's had a bit of a torrid time at the moment with his current club. I'm going to go with Slabhead himself, Maguire.
I'm glad you called him Slabhead because I was going to as well. Again, as I said, he's had some troubles off the pitch as well, hasn't he, recently? But for England, he's consistent For Manchester United, he's been rubbish. But for England, I don't know whether that's something to do with the coaching or the setup. Who knows? So
Who knows?
So far we've agreed here. Now the third spot could be where we disagree potentially. Who are you putting on the right? As I know who I'd go for out of the remaining players.
I'm gonna go for Kieran Trippier.
You're going to go for Kieran Trippier. It's someone I didn't think about. We'll put him in now. I'll let you have that one. I'll concede that position for when we come up to later, and I'll argue with you. The player I was going to go with in there, potentially in the middle, I don't know, but certainly in that back three was Connor Cody. Wolves play that.
That's a good shout.
Wolves play that formation, and he's just got those long balls in, and I like him. He's consistent for me. But I'm quite happy with Kieran Trippier in there. I did think about Kyle Walker. We've seen him play there before as well, but wait and see. So left wing back. Obviously, we've mentioned some players before in Saka who can play there. So if you want him in, we'll get him in. If you want other players, Ben Chilwell, the only recognised left back in the squad, I will add, is ineligible.
Yep.
So it takes a little bit of jiggery pokery to make this fit.
Just looking at the fixtures that we've got, from what we've discussed in the podcasts, as well, with Wales, Belgium, and Denmark, I think that Wales is possibly going to be the easier of the fixtures, or it's going to be the most evenly contested of the fixtures. And I think with bringing this person in who's been absolutely outstanding last season, and he's showing the form this season as well, I would put Bukayo Saka in a left wing back.
You're going to go for Saka in at wing back? Let's bring him in. He's over there. I'm inclined to agree with you. Because Chilwell's not there, he has provided the most assists since the beginning of the last season for any player in the Premier League. Fantastic youngster. I think Arsenal have got a bit of a what you'd call a wonder kid there. But yeah, he's very versatile as well. So I'm quite happy to concede that spot as well. So going into that, we had 4 right backs. One of them you've placed at sort of that right centre back. So the more attacking of those players, who are you going with? See, I've got my choice, and it's purely on form and some of the stuff he's done this season.
Got him. You go.
For me, all day long, out of those, it has to be Reece James.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go for. I think. Sorry, go on. You give your.
But the only reason I say that is Alexander-Arnold. You would usually go, yeah, he's number 1. But say he was part of that team who got obliterated by Aston Villa. He does like going forward, but he's not been providing those balls into the box, those killer balls that we saw last season. He's not been tracking back as much. Reece James has got in his locker to put it in top bins, as we've seen a couple of times this season. He is putting in some more killer balls, and he is one hell of a defender. The only other person I would have put in there, but he hasn't been included, which is, I don't know if he's out injured, is Aaron Wambasaka. He's not in the squad at all. Considering it's a right back heavy squad, I thought he's better than a couple of the ones. Certainly, potentially better form, but say I've not been following United too much, so I don't know. Ran over. Right.
Who does?
Let's well, exactly. No one at the moment.
Even the United fans aren't.
Ollie's at the wheel, but I think he's crashed the bus into a tree. Right, midfield. Again, some players you might put as attackers, this, that, and the other. So across that midfield, if we're playing 5 at the back, how many are we going for in midfield?
I would go for. In fact, you could probably go for a 3 across and then lone striker.
3 across and then lone striker.
Yeah, because you could either play. No. So you would have. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be.
Yeah, 5 plus Jordan Pickford's 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a lone striker's 10.
All right.
Bonus player.
Yeah, that'll be a fan pick.
It's usually like Big Jeff who comes in fully kitted up. He's saying that he'd get a game because
Possibly.
I've got mine. I think I know what you're talking about. Having that one slightly potentially more defensive player, and the rest all attacking essentially. And for me, there is only one that can go in there.
Got him.
It's got to
Your
be.
boy.
It's got to be my boy who's going to take the captain's armband. Declan Rice.
Yep.
I can't see any other argument for any other player being in there. I mean, allegedly, this geezer, Jordan Henderson, he's gone missing. He's injured, so you might see him play there. But as I said, Eric Dier, I've put in midfielder because we usually see him. He's another one. Calvin Phillips plays there. We've seen James Ward-Prowse play there. We've seen Maitland-Niles play there before, maybe not recently. And Harry Winks has played a bit deeper as well. But for me, Declan Rice tops a lot.
Would you not put two DMs in there?
Potentially. I think, yeah, can do. Up to you.
Stick Dier in there as well.
Stick Eric Dier in there. Do you know what? I do like Eric Dier, and the reason I like Eric Dier is because he does like a tackle, doesn't he? He's not afraid to put himself about, and I do like that about players. So yeah, okay, I'm quite happy to do that. So that leaves us with 4 players to go.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you going for any more midfielders, or you just going wingers-ish? And
yeah, I think I'll go wingers.
Right, so we have, as you've just pointed out quite rightly, we have 3 positions left. So far, I would say defensively, looking like quite a strong unit with the ability to be able to go forward from those wing-back positions. 2 players who are very good at intercepting, and 1 that's very good at putting in a very big tackle. So coming in, what are you going?
Just based on current form.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
I would. Yep, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's got to go, sunshine.
The interesting thing will be here. Sorry to cut you off there.
Go for it.
He's been on fire for Everton. They've been playing in a very particular way, and he's got a world class number 10. I don't know. Behind him in James Rodriguez. So it'd be interesting to see if he can recreate that sort of form for England. I'd love it if he could, because I think he's a cracking player. Dress sense is a little bit odd, but cracking player. So come in. What else are we gonna go for?
I think Martial left wing.
Martial, he's French, mate. Are you talking about Martial Rashford?
Yeah.
The English,
wow, that's embarrassing.
The English Martial. Coming in. So I'm assuming we're going with a right wing. Who you putting on right wing? I'm quite happy to concede Rashford there. Again, I'd probably see him cutting in the middle, coming a bit more central, with Bukayo Saka overlapping him on the left. And that's what I imagine would happen.
I'm not entirely sure with who I put right wing.
You've got Harvey Barnes there, who's a winger. Obviously, Mason Mount we've seen play out there. Grealish we've seen play out more generally on the left. I know who I'd put out there. I'll throw a shout out. You don't have to go with it. You don't have to go with it. I would put man who's on the midfield. I would put Mason Mount out there.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because
Martial's busy.
Because Martial is busy. Let me just get rid of some of these players quickly that are not on the pitch. Phillips, where's Winks? The reason I would put, where the fuck are they gone? Ings is there, and Harry Kane is there. The reason I would put Mason Mount there is because we've seen him play that position for Chelsea before. He will track back. He is used to playing with Reece James, So there will be some communication there, and they'll be looking to help each other out. But also, I can see him potentially drifting in here. So if the attacks are coming up the right, and Reece James is pushing on up that right-hand side, if he's coming up there, then the defence, I think, will shift. And then same the other way. I can see Marshall Rashford coming in as a bit inside forward. Saka taking up that left wing role, and sort of the defence shifting to the left. So that, a bit of a seesaw.
Do you know one tactic I've seen that's been kind of deployed by a couple of teams this week? I know it's nothing like groundbreaking or whatever, but it's just something that I've really picked up on recently. Is the wingers having a swap of positions? So one will go to the left. Yeah. I don't know why I've never really picked up on it before, but I've really noticed it this season.
It's one of those, I think, it keeps defend, because if wing backs are generally the people who man mark, aren't they? They know they've got to come back and mark, for example, Rashford or Mason Mount. And when they switch, it's just that little half a second that a lot of these players need with the speed of the game now, that they go, where is he? Oh, he's over there. I've got to pick up him. And I think it's just this little half second, and just keep switching, because then where am I marking? Who am I marking? Who have I got to track back with? But yeah, no, I do know what you mean. It seems to be a bit more prevalent this season than it has been previously. I know you see it sometimes, but generally they'll play 15 minutes and then switch. But now it seems to be a lot more of a fluid system where they are constantly in and out of that position. But yeah, so I think a fairly strong squad there, especially with Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale both missing, and Martial missing for England. I mean, but with those two key players, it's going to be a fairly inexperienced squad, isn't it? For Wales, you would think. Obviously, there will be some experience in there, but they're not, I wouldn't say, as high a quality a player as what we've put out here. So I do think it'd be unlikely if we concede lots. We've got the potential to make mistakes, obviously, but I'm quite happy with that team. If you think we've got it right, then let us know. If you think we've got it completely wrong, then obviously let us know, because we need to know these things. But that is mine and mine.
And tell me why Martial isn't in the England team.
Well, you made that mistake. I once was, who was I? I was France, or so, I can't remember. It was on FIFA, and I was a country. I was Germany, and I was like, "Where is Frank Ribery? Where is he? He's not in the squad. Where is he?" At which point, someone explained to me he's French.
He's well quick though.
He's well quick though. That's an old joke, bloody hell. But yeah, I thought I was Bayern Munich, but it was just Germany. So, hey ho. But yeah, until then, I've been Ian.
I've been Mike.
He's been Mike. That way, you're that way. You've been Mike. We'll see you for the next England game. Bye.